Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ode to Gran Turismo, our running Ode to the Gran Turismo Sport series. We technically started before Gran Turismo 7 came out, but Gran Turismo 7 is here. It's taken the world by storm, but we're still racing on Gran Turismo Sport, completing this tournament. And today we are at Monza, and we are racing with the Group A guys. It is going to be one exciting race. The top 14 drivers in the country separated by a margin of milliseconds. The drivers have started qualifying. We'll get to that. But I also want to welcome Sushi, who's in the commentary box with us today. Sushi raced in the Group B League yesterday. He's here. We're going to have a nice conversation with him as well. Sushi, say hi to everyone.
Thank you, AB. Yeah, happy to be here. Excited about this race. Should be one cracker of a race. Love this track and it's super for racing. Really fast, lot of overtaking opportunities. Should be a fun race.
Absolutely. So the drivers are on their hot laps now. I just saw them doing the. I'm sorry, the drivers are on their hot laps, the push laps. Just saw them doing their out laps just a few minutes ago. So 10 minutes worth of qualifying. They set the order for the grid. For the race start, and the race, as usual, is a standing start. We're looking at Supervedu in P1 in terms of his track position. We'll keep an eye out on all of these guys. Supervedu is definitely the one to watch out for. He's been the most consistent in this league so far. He's at the top of the table with the most number of points, the most number of podiums, and well, technically he is the most consistent because he has placed second in every race so far. That's amazing. What do you think, Sushi?
Super consistent. And yeah, he's been racing really well. He's no matter the track, no matter the strategy required, he's put his car head up at the front. I'm sure this time around he'll be looking that one step ahead, and finish on the step.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are on board Supervedu as he gets into Parabolica. It's a nice. He gets as close to the apex as possible. Gets a nice exit out as well. So the first set of times are going to start flowing in, and he does a 46.8 straight off the bat. The qualifying position yesterday was a 47.4 or 5, if I remember correctly, because Sushi, you were on pole, weren't you?
I was. I don't remember the time. I only remember the gap to Wildest Monk.
I remember that. So yeah, brilliant time from Supervedu with a 146.815. Tegiswan just behind him, almost 5/10 away. Gareth Lotha in the Porsche in third position. Shami, who is on his controller today, and I don't know, where did he go? Okay, yeah, he's here. He has done a 147.89, almost a second away from Supervedu. Fun Anywhere is in 5th position. We'll try and get as close to him as possible. Pagal Raja, who has joined us after a gap of a couple of races, is in 6th. Dan Lord in 7th. Shaz in 8th for now, but I think that that times are going to topple as well. RKV right now is in 9th position. Lucky Atma, who won the last race at Tokyo Expressway, in 10th. Afraid Racer in 11th, who actually had a very good race the last time around, but he ran out of fuel. So you raced yesterday, Sushi. The fuel was a major concern for a lot of people. How did you find the conditions and the fuel saving and the strategies?
Yeah, I mean, I messed up my strategy big time yesterday, but talking about the strategy in general, I think there are a lot of options people can take depending on what speeds they can do and how their car behaves on fuel loads, different fuel loads, and how well they can save fuel. So depending on how the opening lap goes, especially T1 out here is a complex turn and can leads to a lot of incidents. So depending on how you get out of T1 on lap 1, you have to think of different strategies that you might take, because not only is getting to the end of the race important, even like if you have, because of the time where it's like fine between 16 laps and 17 laps, a fine margin between the two. If it goes to the 17th lap, then you have to have strategy for that as well. So a lot of variables involved in that, and let's see how you have to think on your feet, and let's see how everyone what kind of solutions everyone comes up with. Should be fun to watch.
Absolutely. So we'll look at that during the races. Obviously, there was a little bit of contact between Dukhi Atma and, if I remember correctly, Pagal Raja. They were both trying to get ahead. There's a bit of a traffic jam forming in this lap. Some people came in to get a new set of tires. So, the difference between the pits and the people who are already on a hot lap. So I'm looking at Garvith Lodha right now, who is in the slipstream of Dan Lord, but I don't think it's really helping him out because Dan Lord has some sort of a weird connection going on as Garvith is overtaken by Pagal Raja, so I think he just gives up for now. But Dukhi Atma has secured third position. I think he, even irrespective of that contact, I think he's probably just going to go and come in this lap, get a new set of tires, go back out again and do a hot lap if he can. Supervedu and Tegiswan, they do the same thing, going to the pits, get a new set of tires. Looking at the chat as well, the Weekend Racing wishes everyone the best of luck. Aniket says hi Aniket, we see you, we hear you. Zolo in the chat says watch out for MJ, the Supra is rapid. Yes, it is, but do not discount the GTR, as Aniket says. The GTR is one mighty car, especially with its top end speed. The Weekend Racing says he really likes the livery on Dukhi Atma's car, so we'll focus on Dukhi Atma a little bit. I do like that livery as well. It's very, very shiny. All right, a minute and 50 seconds now for everyone to go back, come back around and go for one last push lap. I'm going to stay on board Supuedu. He has a penalty. I think he will go for the push lap once again. Sushi, I will come back to you in terms of, the start procedure and everything. But for now, I do want to, as soon as Supuedu starts his hot lap, I do want to focus on how he takes those lines. Shaz for right now is in fourth position. He's gotten a fresh set of soft tires. Is he actually going for a hot lap? I think he might be. He might be. So let's see if yeah, so Shaz is shifting pretty aggressively, so I think he is going for a hot lap here. But the man to watch out for is Supuvedu. In provisional P1, he is already done a 46.8. And we watch him get close to Parabolica and round it up. Will he be able to get close to MP Tegiswan and maybe get a slipstream off of him? Does not look likely for right now, but we'll see how the lap progresses. I'm pretty sure that Tegiswan does not want to get in the way of Supuvedu's hot lap as well. Karan in the chat says Dukhi versus Supuvedu again. Oh, that has been a rivalry that's been brewing for such a long time. While we look at this hot lap from Supuvedu, tell me about the start procedure, Sushi, because you qualified on pole yesterday, and the Supra, being the Supra, it just does not want to get off the line properly. And you lost that position to the Wildest Monk, who's been getting some blistering starts, mind everyone in the chat. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I that's the Achilles heel of the Supra. Apart from that, the car is really fast everywhere else. Just off the line, I think it's the setting with the TC or the turbo, I'm not sure, whatever it is, it just doesn't go off the line very well. I mean, GT Sport has a very straightforward starting procedure, so everyone follows that. It's just the behavior of the car that sort of determines how well the car gets off the line. Oh yeah, so just gun your accelerator and release the brake when the lights go off, and that kind of really just bogs the Supra down. So yeah.
It really does. So, and I've heard people who try to compensate that with a little bit of wheel spin off the line, but then you have to be
Yeah.
so careful with your inputs because even a little bit of steering lock and the car just goes sideways. All right, Super Vedu
And
rounding off the Parabolica. We've been looking at him through his last hot lap. What time is he going to set? He's already at a 46.8. I think he might be able to beat that. He does a 46.595. Dukhi Atma right now approaching the last turn, the Parabolica. What is Dukhi Atma going to do? What does he have up his sleeve? He's getting ever so close to Shami, gets a little bit wider. And I think he loses the opportunity to have the slipstream, but he still has the pace and he does a 46.7. Wow, just a tenth and a half away from Super Vedu. Shami on his controller is just 4/10 away and it does a 47.0. Amazing, amazing job from Shami. Shaz is in 4th position, Tegiswan in 5th, Fun Anywhere in 6th, Garvith in 7th, RKV in 8th, Afraid Racer in 9th. I don't think he'll be happy with that. Bagaraja Jr. in 10th, Dan Lord in 11th, and Santosh right there. Look at that. The gap between the top driver and the guy in the last is just 1.5 seconds. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, the grid is forming. We're just waiting for the lights to come on. Here is your starting grid right now. Look at that. The GTR up at the top with Dukhi in the Supra. I'm not sure who's going to lose out, but we will keep our focus on Super Vedu. I think the lights have started to go on. We'll see a red light on our screen very soon, followed by a green. And it's green and we're off. Dukhi Atma, as usual, gets a very, very slow start, but Super Vedu in that Nissan. Look at that. Shami is very, very close to Super Vedu as well. I just want to go on board Super Vedu if I can. Shami tries to make a move down on the inside, but overcooks it, and he has to take evasive action. But now Super Vedu is down. He is in the gravel, and Shami takes first position. Tegiswan is in 2nd position, Shaz in 3rd. There's still a lot of argy-bargy going on. We're going to go on board our KV from the back and see what happens. RKV tries to make a move down the inside, creates a little bit of space for himself. There's a little bit of contact with Tegiswan, but that's not going to end well for him as he gets on to the gravel as well. But what about that start? Super Vedu going from 1st to 10th. Not even 10th. Oh, he is in 9th position right now. I want to go back and see if I can watch a replay of that happening. All right, so we'll go on to Super Vedu, stay on board him and look behind him. So he's accelerating and just waiting for the lights to go out. We're watching a replay right now. Dukhi jumps. Oh, Dukhi jumps the start and probably gets a penalty for that. That's the reason he's dropping as well. So we'll look at where Dukhi ends up. But look at Shami. Gets onto the slipstream of Super Vedu, dives down the inside, but overcooks it slightly. And once he comes back onto the track, there's just no space for Super Vedu to go. That's just sad, don't you think, Sushi? I think this resembles what happened to you yesterday.
it does exactly. I know exactly what Super Vedu is going through right now, and he must be recalculating, refiguring out his strategy. Really, like you are on pole, and 2 seconds later you're at the back of the grid. So your strategy has to do like a 180-degree turn. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he must be thinking of all the possibilities right now.
Yeah, I can already see the incident reports filling themselves up with all the turn 1. But that's the thing. I mean, there was a little bit of a drama at turn 1, but in both the races that we saw, the one yesterday and the one today, it's not nearly as catastrophic as Monza turn 1 usually is. As Dukhi Atma tries to make a move, hits Fun Anywhere, and Fun Anywhere just cuts the chicane. Dukhi Atma is being aggressive. I think he lost a couple of positions at the start. He does not want to lose anymore. Super Vedu is already back up to 6th. He's been having a monumental last lap as well, going down to 10th place and then coming back up to 6th. I think, yes, he will be calculating a lot of his decisions right now in terms of, the strategy, what he has to do, because there are two strategies on offer, as we all saw yesterday. There's a one stop where you do save a lot of fuel, but it is slightly faster, and there's also a two stop, which is quicker in terms of the overall race pace. You want to drive quicker, you're on fresher tires most of the time, so it's going to be interesting to see what these guys do when the pit window actually opens. What are your thoughts, Sushi? So Dukhi Atma, who got a really bad start because he jumped the start lights, he is in third. I think he's comfortable. He's right there behind Fun Anywhere. Look at that. He's pushing Fun Anywhere to try and get these guys away from the back. He tries to make a move down the inside, stops it in time. Fun Anywhere tries to make a little bit of a switcheroo, gets crowded out, and Fun Anywhere now loses a couple of positions as well. I want to look at that once again. So Fun Anywhere coming down the straight, look at Dukhi Atma right behind him. He makes the move down the inside, overcooks it slightly, but Fun Anywhere wants to take the line outside, and he just dips a wheel on the gravel and loses out so much time. I don't think Fun Anywhere is going to be happy about that. Yeah, so we were talking about yesterday's race that Sushi took part in. At what point did you realize that you might have to change your strategy?
Oh, at turn one itself, when I was when I was in the sand pit, I was like, okay, this time I've got to do a one stopper, because I've been in that same position earlier, and I've tried to do like the quicker two stopper, I think at Saint Crocs, and that really didn't work out. So I went for the one stopper for right on, and for one who likes to stick to a plan, keep changing my strategy like a lot of these guys do. So it was one stopper all the way, and then I stuck to it, and sort of worked out in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say that as well, because if somebody wants to change their strategy, they have to do it within the first couple of laps itself. After that, the window just closes. We're looking at Super Vedu right now, and I want to go on board him as well, because it looks like he is in the slipstream of the Atma. Super Vedu went down to 10th in lap 1. We just completed lap 3. He's now up to 4th, and he's looking at RKV and Dukhi Atma fighting into turn 1. That's going to lose them time. Look at the switchback from Super Vedu. He almost takes RKV, and I think he might take him in the Della Roggia chicane as well. As we round off this corner, he tries to get the slipstream from Dukhi Atma. Which way is Super Vedu going to go? Nothing for right now. He's just trying to stay calm, making sure that he does not end up in the gravel once again. This is some brilliant driving by Super Vedu, coming back from 10th to 4th, already fighting with the guys in 2nd and 3rd, while Shami is already 1.4 seconds ahead. I think Shami might just be going for a two-stop here.
Probably I mean, he's in the best position to go for a two-stopper because he has clean air in front of him. He can put down those fast laps and use that space he has in front of him. If he can do that, then it'll work out for him. While others keep fighting behind for slipstream and trying to work that one stopper out.
Exactly, and also to the fact that there's a lot of dirty air coming in and out of corners, especially faster corners like Ascari, where you tend to understeer when you're in the dirty air. Even corners like Parabolica, Super Vedu gets it a little out of sorts, but manages to claw it back in. So he is 4 tenths away from RKV. Is a move coming now? What do you think, Sushi?
In Monza, you're always expecting a move. You can never count it out. Like we've seen every turn, we're seeing some move
RKV RKV just locks up his rear tires. Super Vedu tries to, I think he was trying to go down the inside, but I don't think there was any space to go there. All right, so for right now, I think Super Vedu is in a good position. We want to look at some of the other drivers as well. Garvith, closely followed by Fun Anywhere And Tegiswan, is there a move in coming into the Del Roger chicane? Nothing for right now. But Fun Anywhere would be happy there. You know, he would want to save some fuel. Obviously, the GTR is much superior when it comes to straight line speed. But Garvith is in that place once again where he really does not have the slipstream. At least he has some guys behind him this time around. Usually he's been driving his own race pretty much all alone. Tegiswan is in 7th, and there's a big gap to Afraid Racer, who's now 5.7 seconds behind Tegiswan in that Corvette. Santosh, who qualified last, comes back up into 9th position, and Shaz, who has just been getting unlucky over and over and over again, is back down to 10th. You've seen the previous races, Sushi, right? You've seen how unlucky Shaz gets sometimes. Do you think this is the same scenario again, qualifying in the top 5, then dropping down to 10th and having to claw his way back up?
Yeah, I mean, this is what is so special about racing. You know, it's just that the whole week you practice for that one race, and anything can happen in that race.
All right, so
Sometimes your
RKB,
luck.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but RKB does get into the pits, so I think he has committed to a 2-stop now. From 2nd, 3rd position, he's now the Supervedu has made a move, and he has taken Dukhi Atma for 2nd. So the two rivals now going head to head. Supervedu in 2nd, Dukhi Atma in 3rd, and Supervedu, what a drive by him from P10 to P2. But it's a matter of time before we understand what sort of strategy he's going to employ for the remainder of this race as well. Yes, Sushi.
Right, yeah. I mean, we don't know how much fuel he's used up going back all those spaces.
Yeah, we can actually look at that. So,
Yeah.
Supervedu has about 20% fuel left. Dukhi Atma has about the same amount, and quite honestly, Shami, very surprisingly, has very similar levels of fuel. I think Supervedu is the lowest of the three, but he's not lower by much. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes off it. Supervedu is now attacking Shami going into the parabolic. I don't think that's the right place, because Shami can just get back into his slipstream after Parabolica and take advantage of that. But I don't think Shami is going to mind that at all. He would be, Supervedu goes a little bit wide, but he keeps it in between the lines. So this gives him a perfect opportunity to go into the pits. So Supervedu was going into the pits. I think that's the reason he was trying to overtake Shami right there.
All of them are in the pits.
Yeah,
And the three went into the pits.
Tegiswan, I think, has gone for a one stop. He has a lot of fuel remaining. He has about 30% fuel left. Afraid Racer does the same. Shaz does the same thing as well. So Shaz is now right behind Afraid Racer. All he has to do is stay in the slipstream, work together, you three. Afraid Racer, Shaz, and Santosh. Just work together, get yourself ahead. If you start fighting right now, nothing comes off it. The weekend racing in the chat says 16 or 17 depending on the leader speed. That is correct. It can be like we saw yesterday. Ankur, the wildest monk, finished in first position, but he did 17 laps. Everybody else did 16, so he technically won the race by a lap, and that is something that we might see today as well. So people have to account for that extra lap going based on the pace that these guys are showing, because the fastest right now is a 47.3. I think the fastest yesterday was a 47.9, if I remember correctly. So Shaz now in the front of this train, Afraid Racer right behind him, and Santosh behind Afraid Racer as well. All right, RKB now in 6th position. I think he's gotten the undercut done. He's in front of Shami in 7th, Fun Anywhere in 8th, Dukhi Atma in 9th, and Supervedu in 10th. So these guys have been fighting Duki and Supervedu. They've been shifting positions all the time. They've done it in the last race. They're going to do it this race as well. It's a matter of pride now. Sushi, what are your thoughts in this rivalry, this new rivalry that we have seen developing in this group?
It's great to see. They're such superb drivers. They're on the limit all the time, and the racing has been aggressive, but just marginally on the cleaner side. So it's fun to watch. It's right on the edge.
Absolutely, as Supervedu goes side by side from Duki Atma. The racing has been very, very aggressive, but these guys have kept it respectful at all times. Duki Atma breaks just a little bit late, catches the apex, goes on, takes the chicane properly. Supervedu just about 7.5 tenths behind him. So he's in the slipstream range, but I don't think he's going to be catching too much. But look at Duki Atma trying to catch Shami into the Della Roggia. Oh, we have a yellow flag, and it looks like Fun Anywhere. Was that him? Nope, it's Shaz in 10th position. What happened to Shaz? We look at a replay. There was contact with Shaz and Santosh. Our replay cameras did not really catch that. I'm not really sure what happened here. We'll probably get to know. So Shaz, the unluckiest of the bunch, is now back into P11 once again. Oh, this is just truly heartbreaking for him. All right, Sushi. So our replay cameras didn't catch that, but I think there was a little bit of contact between Santosh and Shaz going on in there. Obviously, we'll know what happened towards after the race finishes. Probably everybody's going to have a few words to say about this. As we're looking at this, RKV overtakes Santosh, but Santosh is not giving this up so easily. He goes into the pits now, just 2% fuel remaining. Duki Atma, Shami, and Supervedu are now close to each other again. Look at Supervedu. I think he thought for a move, but let it be. He's letting Shami take control, scaring Duki Atma into braking late and overshooting the corner. But he comes back in line. These guys, again, mentioning your point as well, Sushi, the racing has been so consistent over the last few races. It has been aggressive, very, very aggressive, but they've kept it clean at all times. Is this something that you want to see in the Group B races as well?
Definitely, there are racers who have understanding of racecraft in Group B as well. Maybe our car control is not as great as these guys, but I'm sure we'll see races like this Group B as well. The more we practice, the more of such races that we do, we'll just get better.
Absolutely. So I just saw a move there by Supervedu as well. Can we? Oh, he just pushes Duki Atma and he lets off the accelerator. I want to look at that onboard once again. So he comes in out of Curva Grande, brakes late, very, very late, makes contact with Duki Atma, who has to take evasive action, but then Supervedu lets off the accelerator, lets these guys go, because I think he just made a mistake there. And this is something that's truly beautiful to see as well. Mistakes happen, everybody makes mistakes, but you make sure that you just let the other person go as well.
Yeah. I clearly see that there are two groups that are forming. The ones that are doing two-stopper and the ones that are doing one-stopper, and they're all bunched up together. So it's going to be really interesting at the end. I think there are going to be a lot of cars in the mix at the end that can get onto the podium slots. Should be a fun race as this unfolds.
Absolutely. So we're looking at Supervedu. Duki Atma overtakes Shami as well. We're just looking at that replay. Right now in first position is RKV. Look at that. He has a 7.8 second penalty. I've raced with RKV a lot of times at Monza, and he always seems to end up with double-digit penalties at Monza for some reason. So it's going to be interesting to see how he serves that penalty as well. As Karan in the chat says, clean racing by these boys. Yes, absolutely. Obviously, there are going to be some mistakes here and there, a little bit of contact. But the overall racing, they're respectful towards each other. They keep it as clean as possible. The surprise for me is Fun Anywhere. He is in second position right now. He still has a lot of fuel. So obviously he has to come into the pits like RKV does, but then once they come out of the pits, I think that'll happen probably in the next lap or two, then it's going to be chasing time for both of these guys. As Supervedu right now is in prime position to take P1. He's already built up a gap to Dukhi Atma. The gap is now 1.4 seconds, 1.5 seconds. No chance of a slipstream. So he just has to keep it consistent. Dukhi Atma as well, he has to keep it very, very consistent, because at the end, you never know how much fuel the guy in front of you has. So you have to push them to try and go for that extra lap and see if maybe you've saved up enough fuel. Gavit Loda in 6th for right now. Tegiswan in 7th. Tegiswan won the first 2 races, but he's not been performing to his usual self, at least in the last couple of races. But I'm sure, once the finals begin, he will come on to his own element as well. I think that might be a weakness of the Lexus as well, because Manu is a very, very talented driver. Sushi, what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously the car matters a lot, but at the end of the day, with the... Yeah, go ahead.
About the car, it just could be that lately we've been racing on really fast circuits, and the top end is not Lexus's strong suit. So that's one place that's probably hurting him right now. I'm sure as the league progresses, he'll get his chance to well again.
Absolutely. So Tegiswan, we'll see what happens once the league race reaches ladder stage, which is happening next week. We'll talk about the race next week, because that's an interesting one as well. Afraid Racer in 8th position, Dan Lord in 9th, Santosh in 10th, as RKV now goes into the pits. He's already going down. Supervedu crosses the pit wall, and Shami is now in 2nd. Dukhi Atma pulls the trigger. He goes for a 2-stop. This is going to get interesting towards the end, because Dukhi does not have to restrict himself in terms of fuel saving or tire management, but these guys will come out in traffic. I want to see what RKV does. So still with an 8-second penalty, he comes out of the pits. Looks like it will be in 5th position. He is 20, almost 29 seconds behind Supervedu. So we're running lap 12 now. I think we have at least 5 more laps to go. At least 5 laps, 30 seconds. So 6 seconds a lap. That's going to be difficult, don't you think?
Yeah, but considering that Supervedu and Shami both on lap 6 or somewhere around that, I think they are also probably going for a 2-stopper. Should be stopping soon, from what I think.
Oh, you know what? That does make sense. Yeah, so Supervedu still has some fuel left. I think he can do 1 more lap. So a lot of these guys are going for a 2-stop. Shami has to come into the pits now. He doesn't really have much fuel. Tegiswan has a lot of fuel. So Tegiswan might inherit P1 once Supervedu gets into the pits. But then it's going to be a game of cat and mouse between them, because Supervedu will come out about 15 seconds behind Tegiswan. Wow.
This could be his race,
This could be his race. We were just talking about the disadvantages of the Lexus, and Manu does what Manu does best. Just stays as consistent as he can. He inherits net P1. So all the race, at least until at the end of lap 12, he was the one chasing. Now he'll be the one who's going to get chased. Afraid Racer, 11 seconds behind. It just comes out very, very close to Super Vedu. So Super Vedu has that another car in traffic, RKV, right behind him as well. So it's now a matter of these guys just trying to work together as much as they can and dispatch Afraid Racer quickly, because if they get stuck here, there's 13 seconds behind Tegiswan. They will not have much opportunity to go catch up. So Mehul in the chat says probably Tegi can fully push to the end now, since there's not that many laps left. That is correct. And he also was saying that it's going to be really close between the one stoppers and two stoppers. So we'll have to wait and see. Tegiswan, let's look at what he did. So he did a 48.4 in the last lap. Super Vedu went into the pits. So, sorry, Super Vedu has been overtaken by RKV. Wow. But I don't think Super Vedu minds. RKV has that 7.5 second penalty, so he'll just let RKV do the dirty work for him and try to just stay as close as possible. So we'll see.
Super Vedu,
Go ahead.
and I think Super Vedu, the two stoppers really need to get a move on right now. He would want to dispatch these guys as soon as he can, because Afraid Racer, I think, was going for a one stopper. So being stuck behind him won't do him any good. Yeah.
Exactly. So Super Vedu, who's still almost 7/10 behind RKV. I want to go on board Super Vedu as well. He's in the slipstream. He has to start catching RKV now and try to make a move, or at least work together with him. Dukhi Atma in 5th, still behind Afraid Racer.
I wonder what happened to Dukhi. He was quite close to Super Vedu.
Yeah, I think he made a mistake, as Super Vedu makes a mistake.
Oh.
Super Vedu makes a mistake. He is down into 8th.
Wow.
He just cannot get his car around. Did our replay cameras catch that? So he comes out of the chicane and just gets a little too excited on the throttle. Oh my god, what the race for Super Vedu that was looking set is now gone. He is now in 10th position. He feels there was a contact from Afraid Racer, but we did look at it. Looked like Afraid Racer was ghosted, so we don't really know what happened there. Wow.
I think it was just.
Yeah, we're looking at the replay once
got
again. Super Vedu is
distracted,
Super Vedu is ghosted, but because he's still serving the penalties while he comes out. Oh, this is such a heartbreak. And look at this guy.
No, this is Manu's to lose, yeah.
This race is now Manu's to lose, because even if RKV catches up, he still has that 6.5 second penalty. Mehul in the chat says, "Rip to Vedu's race." Yes, he did so well. He had that exact same moment in lap 1. He went down to 10th position, got his race back up, came back up into almost taking first position, but then he goes and spins out again. So I'm not really sure what happened there. We'll have to look at the replay.
I think if there was one place he could bomb right now, it would be T1.
Yeah, he would definitely want to just bomb that part of the chicane so that everybody takes the layout where there's no chicane, just goes straight to Curva Grande. But yeah, I just don't know what happened to him there. So Super Vedu now in 10th position, 14 seconds behind Gavith Lodha. Mehul said the man with the fastest laps sitting near the bottom. Well, you were correct until just a few seconds ago, as Super Vedu goes fastest with a 46 point... I'm sorry, RKV goes fastest with a 46.984. Tegiswan still 11 seconds ahead. 2 minutes 40 seconds of racing remaining. We'll see how much time is left once he crosses the start-finish line. And our KV is still having that 6.5 second penalty. He's trying to gradually let go of that penalty, but it's going to be a huge task. At this rate, he's going to lose his position to Dukhi Atma as well. So Dukhi is one happy kitten. Supervedu, his competitor, is now down into 10th position, and well, he gains a position automatically, but he also gains a whole load of points as well, as Shami tries to make a move on the outside of Afraid Racer, but Afraid Racer is having none of it. He's just holding his line, making sure, giving Shami the toughest time on that corner. So he comes back out, takes the slipstream from Shami. We're just gonna look behind and look at Afraid Racer, just catching up. Who's gonna break late here? Afraid Racer does not. Shami is crowding Afraid Racer off the track. He's entitled to do that. He left just enough space to do it as well. Fun Anywhere in 6th position, Dan Lord in 7th, Gavith, who had been having quite a silent race all by himself, uneventful, is now into 8th position. Karan Puri is in the chat, is sad about Sukhvedu. We all are. He was driving such a wonderful race. But that's what racing is. Sometimes you come second, sometimes you come 10th. Shaz in 11th right now. I don't think he's going to be happy about all of this as well. Mehul in the chat says, Afraid Racer probably won the race for Tegi by defending the two stoppers. That's an interesting take. It is, right? Because, I mean, I'm sure he did not do it on purpose. I mean, he's entitled to defend. He has his own race to run. I mean, Afraid Racer is in 5th position right now, probably doesn't have the fuel to go full pace. But it did work out in Tegi Swan's favor, don't you think?
It did. He's kept it clean through the race, and he's worked to his strategy. He hasn't been in too many incidents that we saw, and he's driven his own race, which is what really worked out for him at the end.
Absolutely. So Supervedu currently running in P1. This is going to be the final lap. So we're moving on to lap 17. RKV and Dukhi Atma move on to lap 17 as well. Everybody else finishes a lap down. So
you saw.
Go ahead.
Okay, so so these guys are done. No,
yeah, these guys are done now. So Shami finishes in 4th, Afraid Racer finishes in 5th, Fun Anywhere in 6th, Dan Lord in 7th, Gavith in 8th, Santosh in 9th, Supervedu in 10th, and Shaz looks like he's a lap down almost. So he's going to be finishing in 11th right now. All right, let's look at this. So Tegiswan still 8 seconds in front of RKV. RKV still has a 5.8 second penalty, but look at Dukhi Atma. I don't think he has the fuel. I do not think he has the fuel to challenge RKV. So either that or he made a huge mistake. So he's 13 seconds behind RKV. Barring any incidents, Tegiswan takes another win. What a race for this guy.
Amazing. What a brilliant drive by him. Very uneventful, very under the radar, but he's driven a great race.
Absolutely. We were discounting him at the beginning. Thankfully, we did not put a commentator's curse on him. RKV letting go of the penalties now. He knows he can do that, just weaving around, celebrating, and he takes 2nd position as well. So there's going to be a lot of switching going around in the points table. There's going to be a lot of angry people after this race as well, as Dukhi Atma celebrates with a donut just before and reverses into the finish line. I think he got that idea from yesterday because he was egging the Wildest Monk to go on and do a donut at the end of the race as well. Wow, what a race, Sushi.
Exciting. This is what I love about Monza. So many overtaking opportunities. such fast straights and such simple turns, but if you really have to do them well to make good time on the track.
Absolutely. We're
And
gonna go ahead. Go ahead.
in endurance racing, the consistency always wins. So that's what we saw today.
Exactly. Consistency always wins. So we're looking at the final classification now. Tegiswan, what a brilliant race from him. Takes the win. He has told us that his son watches the stream. So Tegi's son, if you're watching, be proud about daddy. Go give him a hug, give him a congratulations. He did really well today. Congratulations to Tegiswan. RKV takes second position. Dukhi Atma reverses into the finish line and takes third with no one behind him. Everybody else finishes a lap down. So Shami in fourth, a Freight Racer in fifth, Fun Anywhere in sixth, Dan Lord seventh, Gareth eighth. I'm sorry, Santosh ninth, Super Vedu. What a bad day for him. And what a bad day for Shaz as well. They both finished 10th and 11th, especially with Super Vedu. I mean, give me your thoughts about that, Sushi, because he did get down to P10 at one stage, climbed back up, was in prime position to win the race, and then it just all got away from him.
Yeah, he just landed up in too much traffic. And in such situations, it's really important to stay calm and pick up your battles, pick up turns that you want to make your moves on. And I guess it just got too crowded and was on a different strategy to people around him, and that sort of didn't play out too well for him.
Absolutely, but that's what racing is. Super Vedu, at least at the start of this race, was at the top of the timing screens. At the top of the leaderboard charts. We'll see what changes that brings. But I just want to look at some messages as well. Mehul says the fighting helped Tegi. So he was talking about our conversation about a freight race. Obviously, he was not defending like Checo was. He's not teammates with Tegi Swan. But he has his own race to run. He's entitled to defend. I'm not sure how much of that was clean. We'll see what the incident reports are filed by the drivers. I can already see a barrage of incident reports waiting for me as soon as I end the stream. But we'll get to those one by one. All right, so race format. We're done with Monza. This was the last race of the fixed car series that the guys had to use throughout the entire tournament. Next week, we are at the Nürburgring 24 hours. In the dark, 40 minutes of non-stop racing in Group 4 cars. But here's the kicker. They can choose which car they want. So I'll not be surprised if some of these guys go for these front-wheel drive cars that are absolute monsters. But the tire wear is high as well. So you might never know what kind of strategies these guys come up with. Sushi, you have to race at the Nürburgring as well. How are you? Excited, scared? Both?
Both. Nürburgring in broad daylight is a scary track to drive on. In the dark, I don't know what's it going to be like. Really have to put in the laps and practice a lot. Be even close to like finishing one lap clean. It should be a fun race. Should be a good one, yeah.
Absolutely. So, final thoughts on the race, Sushi.
Great race. Like we thought, we would see different strategies playing out. We saw a lot of people on so many different strategies, mixing it with each other. And finally, I always feel that, there's not the fastest strategy, is the fastest racer. And I think the fastest racer overall won today.
Absolutely. Manu is definitely the quickest racer. So we'll have to see what he comes up with next. To everybody who has been watching tonight with us, thank you so much for your time. Next week, we're at the Nürburgring 24 hours. It's going to be another crazy race full of incidents. I'm pretty sure about that because that track does not let you overtake at all. So join us next week at the same time. This is me, Abhishek, along with Sushi, saying goodbye, good night, and have a good day.